Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another review on the team of the season, Christian Romero card. We're going to go through the card, details, stats, clips and summary, but before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and the bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below what your thoughts are on this card. And now let's get into the video. So guys, getting into this Christian Romero player review here. This is the team I used him in the centre back slot in that 4-2-3-1, and my first impressions of this card, guys, I am thoroughly impressed with how good this card is given how cheap he is as well. Really, I'm impressed with how well he played in that centre-back role for me. Getting into the review, Christian Romero, low-high work rates, 6'1", right-footed, 2-star skill moves, 2-star weak foot, and I played 5 games with him with no goals and no assists. Overall, guys, all of this is fantastic. The low high work rate is fantastic for a centre back. Right footed, 6'1" as well, good height for a centre back. The 2-star skill moves, 2-star weak foot is really poor, especially on that weak foot side. You do need to watch out for that a little more. In terms of player details, I put a shadow on him, although there are a couple of other ways that you could go with this as well. We'll go to that in the summary at the end of the video. In terms of the key pros and cons of the card, the key pros of the card, first of all, 95 reactions, fantastic in that department. All his defensive stats are really good as well, and his physicality stats are pretty decent too. His short passing is pretty good as well. In terms of the cons of the card though, guys, his acceleration and sprint speed do need a helping hand, so that's a bit of a con. Long passing isn't as good as what the card would suggest. I felt like he misplaced a lot of those for me as well, so you do need to watch out for that, guys. Agility, balance and ball control are all a little bit low, along with that composure too. That makes it a little bit more difficult in terms of the centre back, just for finding the right pass, playing the passes off perfectly every time, or just maneuvering in general with this card. I found a little more difficult too, but overall, guys, I still think fantastic overall card. Getting into the player traits, he doesn't have any. So now that we've covered that, let's get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Christian Romero's clips, and what you guys are going to see is his general solidity at that back line and how well he did for me in all of his defending aspects. Now the first thing we'll get into, guys, is his pace. Now his pace is a little bit of an issue because he is quite a big frame, he is quite tall as well. So with that comes a lack of pace, and considering he already has a lack of pace on the face of his stats, boosting his pace for me is essential in getting the best out of this card. So that's something you guys do need to be aware of, is that this card does lack a little bit in the pace department. Boost the pace to really get the best out of him. The next thing we'll get into, guys, is his dribbling. Now his dribbling is fairly static in terms of his capability. I wouldn't try to complicate things too much with this card. You're able to dribble a little bit with him, but anything more complex I would avoid because he's just not able to move around as freely as other centre backs might be able to, and it may be a little bit difficult with this card to be able to do that rather than just keeping things simple with the balls out and stuff like that. So for me, dribbling is a little bit weak, and alongside that, whilst he does have fantastic reactions, which are really essential for a centre back in my opinion, he doesn't have great composure, so you do need to be aware of that as well, that he won't be able to do the more difficult things that you need him to be able to do all the time. In terms of his passing, guys, now his short passing was really good, and that's why I tended to keep things simple with him. His long passing, a little bit inconsistent, guys, so I would struggle a little bit there as well with this card. In terms of his physicality, guys, really good physicality actually, and you guys have seen a number of tackles that he puts in. He crunches into those tackles, really does win the ball well as well, and going hand in hand with that is his defending. And overall, guys, I think his defending was really good. He was able to step into the tackles, disarm the opponents a lot when he needed to, and stop attacks dead with good tackles, good blocks like this one here. Lovely strong block there, making sure there's no second chances on that as well. And guys, over and over again, I could rely on him to be able to do that. Now of course the pace, you may think is a bit of an issue, but even when he loses the ball, he's able to recover it fairly quickly, put in the tackle, and then we can get going on the attack again and over again, guys. I would say that it's the biggest thing about this card is how well he tackles the ball. It reminds me a little bit of how Casemiro tackles, so clean yet so strong in the tackle as well, able to really crunch the opponents, get the ball back well, and then start the attacks from the back as well with reasonable short passing, reasonable link-up play, but avoid, again, dribbling with this card. The last few clips, guys, you're just going to see more of the same from him. Really commanding presence in the air as well, good header of the ball, good tackling here, seeing out the opposition nice and easy. And in this final clip, more of the same, just winning the ball back here and then bringing it out again once we do win the ball back and getting the ball off to his teammates. Another lovely little bit of play from him there. So guys, getting to Christian Romero's final summary: 127 on the PlayStation, 120 on the Xbox, and 172 on the PC. Now guys, the key pros of the card is defending and physicality are both really good, guys, and I would actually recommend that you really you don't have to focus your effort and time around that part of the game, but the cons of the card is acceleration, is dribbling, and some of his long passing means you do kind of have to apply a chemistry to that, which is going to focus on that in terms of boosting the player. Now Shadow is a good way to go with it. It does boost his pace and just takes his defending up to another level. An Anchor could also be a good way to go, just to give him more physicality. But actually guys, take a look at the Catalyst. Just because it gives him that pace boost, I actually think his defending is very, very good anyway, so you could use this to be able to get the best passing you can possibly get out of him. That will just allow you to be a little more clinical coming out of the back as well, because his long passing isn't great, guys. So that is something I would definitely look at between the Catalyst or the Shadow. I'm not going to recommend either, because this really does come down to personal preference, but for me, I'm going to stick with the Catalyst on this one. In terms of similar players, guys, he's a bigger defender, not so much in the vein of any of these guys, more like a Pepe if I was to suggest anyone similar to him in terms of how well he did for me. Maybe someone along those lines, someone like the Pepe or the What If plus Pepe as well. Very strong in the tackle, tall defender, but not necessarily the quickest on the pitch. In terms of linkability, guys, he's of course got perfect links to all those Alejandro Gomez cards that were at Atalanta whilst he was there. Strong links, of course, as well to other Argentinian players in Serie A, other Atalanta players, as well as Argentinian icons. And there's a lot of links in there, as we kind of explored with De Paul as well. So loads of linkability in there too for this card, which leads me into my final recommendation, which we won't be doing a price comparison on this card, guys. It's too volatile in the market right now. This card is really good. I think if you're looking for a solid Argentinian centre back that can link in a bunch of these players, these Argentinian players that have come in through Serie A, this is definitely one that I would be picking up. He's not too expensive. He will come down in price again, guys, so just hold off a little bit longer before you do buy him, but definitely is worth it, guys. Really, really nice card, and I thoroughly recommend him for your Serie A teams. Hope you guys did enjoy this. If you did, please do smash that like button. Until next time, I will see you all in a bit.